Hello and welcome back to the brewery. It is about 8 a.m., not even. And so you might be kind of surprised, as I am, that we're out here already. But what I'm needing to do in today's video is bottle up some beer and some root beer to take to an event this weekend. And I wanted to get it done while I've got the time right now, so thought I would bring you along. I got a pretty cool new piece of equipment as well. So we'll get into that and more in just a second. Alright, I've got quite a mess here. As you can see, I'm trying to get set up to do this, and I'm just going to run you through what we have and sort of what the process will be, and then I'll set you up and we'll get started. So first thing I have are my 22-ounce bomber glass soaking in water, and those were in a PBW solution yesterday, and now I'm just sort of rinsing them. Those will be ready to fill. We have a variety of bottle caps as well as a capper right there, so we're going to use different colors for different beverages. We've got our counter pressure bottle filler, and I'll explain how that works here in a second. Just some various hose and fittings. And then in our keezer, our newest piece of equipment is this 4-product regulator that I spent a little bit of time getting hooked up last night. It's still pretty messy, but it works. And then obviously our 3 different beverages that we're looking to bottle. So what the setup is going to be is we're going to have a liquid disconnect attached to one side of this filler through this vinyl hose, and then we'll have gas attached to the other side directly to one of the barb fittings on our regulator. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of that plumbed up and set up, and then I'll catch you as soon as that's ready. Alright, so here is what we've got going. I am using 3/16 line because that's what my fittings are on the bottle filler, and so I had to use 3/16. So at the regulator I've actually got 3/16 stretched over a 5/16 barb, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. So had to pause the video there, and I'm still out of breath from trying to make that happen. Anyway, what we have, I'll try to explain it quickly. We have this, and this regulator attached to our 3 kegs. So all 3 kegs are pressurized at their own required pressure. So that's pretty neat. And then on our 3rd regulator, it's actually the second one over, that one is attached to our gas line to the bottle filler. I'm going to quit putting my hand in front of the camera because it refocuses every time. So now what we need to do is turn on our gas to the gun. So I'm going to just do that. There's a valve under here to turn that on. And then we just want to dial in a pretty high pressure to the gun. So we do that by just turning this screw. You can see the gauge climbing. And we're at about 25 psi. Not super important. We just want to have a good amount of flow there. So everything should be set. Now, what we're going to do is whatever beverage we want to fill, we'll just attach this gas. So this liquid. So currently, I've actually got my liquid disconnected from the IPA because I'm using it elsewhere. It's this one. So we're going to reattach to that, but make sure that our bottling gun is in the off position. So the way that this gun works is we have a 3-way valve up here at the top. It can either be off, gas, or liquid. And this is just an overflow down here, so ignore this. The magic really happens up here. So we'll have our bottle up here on the towel. We're going to have this in the off position, and then turn it over to the gas position and slowly stick this tube down into the bottle. So that's the first step. What that's going to do is purge our oxygen out of the bottle and replace it with CO2. So we'll get that down into the bottle, we'll seal it with this stopper, and go back to the off position. Then we're going to turn our three-way valve in the direction of the liquid, and that's going to slowly fill up our bottle from the bottom all the way up until we get close to the neck. Then we'll quick turn this back to the off position, pull the gun out, and stick our cap on. And there's one little trick in there. I can try to explain as I do it, but I like to use my overflow valve as my flow control. So what that's doing is I'm just going to leave this all the way on, because you can have a finer adjustment here with your threaded overflow valve than you can with just your full on or full off three-way valve. So we're going to have our overflow valve off, which will limit the flow, turn this to on, and then slowly open our overflow to fill the bottle. A little bit complicated, but it'll make sense once I get everything set up here. So I'll put you guys on the tripod, get my bottle ready, and we'll fill our first bottle of double IPA. And for an added bonus, I've got my motorcycle jammed in here, so basically no space to work. So this will be interesting. Alright, we're going to take a bottle, give it a good little rinse. And we're ready to go. So all you want to do is just remember which side is gas and which side is liquid. Don't want to be messing that up in this process. And I'm a little bit short on my liquid line, so I got to kind of stretch things here. Yep, we'll make it work. Okay, so if I turn the overflow off and turn to gas, we should hear gas flowing. Yep. So we're just going to take our filler and purge that, and just put our bottle under a little bit of pressure. Okay, so that's a little bit of pressure. And it's sort of an experiment until you get things correct, so it might take a little while the first time. Now, with our overflow off, there should be no flow if I switch over here to beer. Nope, basically no flow. And then what I'll do is slowly open this, and you can see, you probably can't quite see for a second, but we are starting to fill up with beer here. And I'm just going to do a little bit and dump this first small amount. Make sure you go to off. I'm going to dump this first little bit because that was running through this for the first time in a while, so not going to be the best. And it's a little foamy, so we were filling pretty fast. Got to try and find just the right amount of speed to limit your foam. Okay, this one's for real. So remember, we'll go over to gas. Whoop, went a little far. Here we go, pressurize our bottle. The idea here is if we fill the bottle while it's under pressure of CO2, the foam can't develop. So now we'll go over to beer. And start our flow. You can also kind of look into your bottle and see the foam level. So when I look in here, we've got just a tiny amount of foam. I'm going to bring you guys over and show you a close-up of this. hopefully you can see there our foam level. The lighting's pretty poor, but we just barely have maybe half of an inch of foam. The rest is all beer, so I'll leave you here to watch this close-up of us filling. Whoop. Alright, just going to crack this overflow valve. Kind of just your preference of how full you want to go. I go just above the neck, typically. About there. And if you go too high, you'll start to see your foam and beer coming out that overflow. That's the purpose of that. So now, we want to get ready with our cap. For IPA, I was going to go with yellow caps, just so we can help identify what's what. I should have had this ready before I had to keep my hand on the bottle here. We're going to give our cap a little spray of Star San. The good news is this beer is going to be used or drank or whatever you say this weekend, so it's not going to be in long-term storage where I'm too worried about sanitary practices, but try and do your best as always. We'll also give the lip of our bottle a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to off just to be sure nothing comes spraying out. We'll remove the gun, and we want to cap in foam. So as it foams up, you're going to cap it. There we go. Should have had a clean towel ready here. So that is one double IPA, counter pressure filled and capped. So I've got 9 to go here. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.